One thing on, I just
Happy Easter.
Easter.
Welcome, everyone. Just a few reminders before we get started. The building is closed. However, the garden restroom is open. Please remember to keep your mask over your nose and respect others' space by staying 6 feet away. And finally, we will be live streaming this service to Facebook and YouTube. For those of you near Lori,
So good morning.
Good morning.
Doesn't it feel nice? Yeah. So this is in honor of Miss Sheila. For those of you who have been on Zoom with us for fellowship, Sheila's been wearing her hats the last month getting ready for Easter. So, Sheila, thank you. Thank you, and thank you for ushering and for all of the rest of you who've come in a little bit early this morning. And we apologize for being just a little bit late, but we are excited about new technology and how maybe it will play out to support us as we move forward. For those who don't know, I think I know all of you, but for those who don't know, I'm Reverend Judy, and we're grateful to be here in our garden this morning. I'm joined this morning by Reverend Kathy, who's sitting back there, and she'll be up for meditation. Our board member of the day is Bob Baker, and we have a host of angels who've come in to help us to put this on for you this morning. And thank you for being here. With all the noise and everything else. It's nature and it's outdoors and it's beautiful. Sheila, come on. There's a place for you right up here. Come on up. And you get to sit next to your delightful partner. All right. So our affirmation this morning will come after we light the candle. And I chose this morning to use our 3-wick candle to remind us that we are more than just this body. We are spirit. Our spirit is always with us. It's here before us, it's here after us, and it never changes. It's eternal. Mind or soul? Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, used them interchangeably. Maybe. Mind or soul? Or soul, that which is forever, but it's always changing. It comes into this physical body to have a new experience, to have growth, and then it moves on and continues. And then we have this delightful body temple, this physical thing that we have to feed, we have to exercise, we have to bathe, we have to love it. We have to take care of it. And we know they may not all stay lit depending on the wind, but I really wanted us to have that sense as we move through the service this morning. Our affirmation is, through the Christ presence within, it's that spirit, that soul within, I am transformed. Can you say it with me? Through the Christ presence within, I am transformed. One more time. Through the Christ presence within, I am transformed. Let's take that into prayer. We breathe into that presence. We sense that presence within us. And as we breathe, it's like we flame the fire of that presence. And as we breathe in and we exhale, we do it from our heart space. We drop into that heart space, put our intention there. Attention and intention. And we pray knowing that we are the beloved children of God. We are blessed. We are here on this earth at this moment, at this time, to be the presence, to be that which moves out into the world as light, is beautiful, loving, divine energy. And we send our light, our energy, our love out to others in the community, out to the greater world, allowing that love to penetrate any darkness, the love and the light to penetrate the darkness, to penetrate the sorrow, to be present with those who are struggling, to uplift those who are down, to ignite, to reignite those lights that feel extinguished. We know they aren't, but we give a little boost to open it back up. We are grateful and we are blessed by this community that supports us in so many ways. And for your presence this morning, your support of those others who are sitting with you, we say thank you. And we say thank you to ourselves and thank you to the world. So it is. Amen. So we welcome you to Unity of Mesa, where we enlighten, empower, and energize one another to uplift our world through a greater experience or greater expression of God. And we have a song. I think that's it. Yeah. By Daniel Nema.
Hello, my friends in Mesa. Happy Easter. Happy Passover if you're celebrating. I think it's official. I think spring has finally sprung. How exciting. I feel like I'm an inch closer to singing for you in person someday. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, I sure hope you're doing well. Seeing your faces, I miss visiting your lovely building. And I have 3 songs for you this morning, this Easter morning, about rebirth and remembering. I'll start with this quiet song that is very much about reminding myself that the wins and losses, pains and pleasures, ups and downs of life are not distractions, things to be suppressed or denied or criticized, but instead to be allowed and acknowledged and learned from. That's the stuff life is made of. When my hands were empty, when my hope was gone. I couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong? But even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Oh yeah. Into my empty hand, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand, you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubted. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up, 'cause I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without your deep and abiding love. Oh, love. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand, you needed my empty hand. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. And I cannot help but to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand, you needed my empty hands. So thank you for my, thank you for my, thank you for my empty hands.
And we are grateful that our hands are empty and open to receive. So there's a few things for you to know. We have several events and classes to share with you. Registration's open for spirit groups, Art of Feminine Presence course, and Sacred Yoga with me. Coming soon, we have a new membership class coming. And for those who would like to become a member at Unity of Mesa, and we have a Wednesday class that will dive deeper into our next Sunday service theme. But next Sunday is all online. That gives us 2 weeks to work out our kinks and everything before we do open back up for regular service inside. And Greg Tamblin will be the special guest next Sunday. If you've never heard him, he is amazing, and he does music and the talk all together. So please check that out. Plus, all the other details and information and registration are a Things for You to Know button on our website, unityofmesa.org. You'll also find link to prayer service, meditation, focus groups, and more. And we welcome you all back. We're so glad to see you, and anyone who is new or a guest today, thank you for joining us. We thank you all for sharing your love and light with us this morning. Please know your soul is welcome here. And now let's share our guiding statement to remind us why we come together. I'll say it once in case you have forgotten it, and then you can join me in. We are here to experience more of the fullness of who we truly are in order to transform the world. Please join me. We are here to experience more of the fullness of who we truly are in order to transform the world. And so we're going to start with our Easter talk. And, Easter is that Sunday that resonates within the Christian community because it is that moment at which there was a realization that Christ had risen, right? That there was a transformation that had occurred, a resurrection that had occurred. There was a revitalization of an energy that had kind of fallen off with the crucifixion. It had gone into the depths, gone into the darkness. And so that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Because I believe that we have kind of felt like we've been in the darkness, in the crucifixion this year, right? Even having to finagle how to get an appointment for vaccination. Those of you who played with that, computer helping each other. So we're going to talk just a little bit about that. How do we go beyond? How do we go beyond? How do we move beyond? But let's do first our next song.
There was a day, I remember it well, when I could always tell what was right for me. Such a day, not so long ago, when I would always know I was safe as can be. I'm going back to that very first day. There was a day before my faith hit the ground, before the shame came round, before the walls came down. Such a day, I might have been just a child, but boy, I knew how to smile more than once in a while. I'm going back to that very first day. I'm going back to that very first day. 'Cause on that day, I was at peace. I did everything with the greatest of ease. On that day, I knew joy. All the world was a bright blue baby's toy. I'm going back to that very first day. There was a day before the anger ruled, before the guns in school, before the wars for fuel. Such a day when children danced in the streets, when all had plenty to eat, when every soul was free. We're going back to that very first day. We're going back to that very first day. 'Cause on that day, we were at peace. We did everything with the greatest of ease. On that day, we knew joy. All the world was a bright blue baby's toy. We're going back to that very first day. It doesn't need to be so hard to live this life. We haven't strayed that far. Our souls just wait for us to decide. And on that day, we'll be at peace. We'll do everything with the greatest of ease. On that day, we'll know joy. All the world will be a bright blue baby's toy. On that day, we will know love, and all that we've ever been will be more than enough. On that day, we'll know joy. All the world will be a bright blue baby's toy. We're going back to that very first day. We're going back to that very first day. Let's go back to that very first day.
So I've been waiting all year to be able to tell a joke and have a response. Because those of you who were around when I started, one of the things that happened when I came on was the president of the board came up to me a few weeks later and said, you know, we love what you're doing, but we miss the jokes because we always had a joke, and that's what we went home and talked about was the joke. And I'm going, oh, I can't tell a joke. I forget the punchline. So I started practicing. So I'm still practicing, but I'm working on it. So here we go. A very zealous, soul-winning preacher, young preacher, recently came upon a farm worker out in his field. Being concerned about the farmer's soul, the preacher asked the man, are you laboring in the vineyard of the Lord, my good man? Well, not even looking at the preacher, the farmer replied, nah, these are soybeans. You don't understand, said the preacher. Are you a Christian? With the same amount of interest as his previous answer, the farmer said, nope, my name is Jones. You must be looking for Jim Christian. He lives a mile south of here. The young, determined preacher tried again, asking the farmer, are you lost? Nah, I've lived here my whole life, answered the farmer. Are you prepared for the resurrection? The frustrated preacher asked. This caught the farmer's attention. When's it going to be? Thinking he had accomplished something, the young preacher replied, it could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be the next day. Taking a handkerchief from his pocket and wiping the sweat off his brow, the farmer remarked, well, don't mention it to my wife. She don't get out much and she'll want to go all 3 days. All right, you got it. I went first. What's he talking about? The revival, you know, how they had the big tent and all that, the revivals? Yeah, resurrection, revivals. Definitely. So it's good to laugh again with you guys. And it's good to be together on site and enjoy the community of positive energy. And welcome home, everyone. So when is the resurrection? What is the resurrection? And it does feel like some crucifixion during the past 12 months, 13 months now, almost, right? So we've been isolated. We've been in separation from family, from friends, from work, from our regular schedule for many of us, all due to this virus, this pandemic. There have been deaths, lots of deaths. I did a grief workshop yesterday, it's heavy. And just the whole, everything's shifted, hasn't it? We wonder, will life go back to normal? But my guess is it's going to have to be a new normal. We'll create a new normal. We've seen where there is still darkness that needs healing. There is so much in the darkness that needs healing, and it seems like it all came to light over the last couple of years, and then this year it just exploded out, didn't it? So we know we experienced Black Lives Matter this year. We know we're experiencing more and more hate crimes against the American Asians and the Pacific Islanders, the AAPI. There's been the Capitol uprising. There's been mass shootings beginning to surface again. Loss of jobs, the economic insecurities right now. Kids at home. My goodness, parents who have had their children at home and are working at home and trying to juggle all of that. My hearts have gone out to you. My heart's gone out to you this year. Wow. We've had grief. We've had gratitude. We just had that sense that maybe Pandora's box has opened up. And this whole piece of being covered, having our faces covered. And, you know, I remember being in Fiji and there was lots of Asian tourists, and they almost always were wearing masks. And I thought, wow, and they said they've been wearing masks for years, since the SARS outbreak. I thought, what would it be like to have that much fear of something you can't see that you are covering? And here we all are. So we know that now, and we understand the science behind it. And yeah, we just hope that we move through this and our science is able to do a little bit more work. And we're grateful for all the work that has been done the decade before that has allowed us to come out of it as well as we've come out of this. So when is that resurrection, and are we ready for it? Aren't we? We are ready for it. We're ready to move on. We're ready to be lifted out and return to this new normal that we'll be creating. In March, Reverend Kathy explored the power of parables with you, didn't she? The metaphoric stories that point externally beyond itself to some different and much wider reference. It's never about the content, it's beyond the literal content. And this is true for Jesus's life. If we look beyond the content of his life, we know that traditional Christianity speaks to the ending of his life and attaches meaning with some of the gospel writers that the story is all about Jesus and how he is the Son of God sent to save us from our sins. But there's more to this story. It's been said that the life of Jesus is a parable. And Patricia Pierce, a Presbyterian pastor, wrote in her book, Beyond Jesus, if we consider Jesus to be a doorway, as many people do, then we must ask, what is the doorway to? One does not stop at a doorway, nor fixate upon it, but one moves through it to the other side. That is its purpose. And what if that was the purpose of Jesus, was to move through it, was to move through his teachings to the other side, to join on the other side. And when we focus our spiritual journey on Jesus himself, we stop at the doorway. We fail to see what he was showing us about our own nature, that we are more than this physical body temple. We're so much more. Jesus himself went beyond Jesus, didn't he? He knew who he was beyond his physical body. And there's a quote by Patricia Pierce says, Jesus was able to be a conduit for divine purposes because he himself had moved beyond Jesus. He had moved beyond the narrow confines of a particular identity and was the full realization that we were and always had been one with the source of being. We are one with the source of being. Jesus didn't teach about a God of intervention, but a God of collaboration. Through parables, when we choose to be open to them, to receive them, to accept them, we realize that he taught that the kingdom of God was present whenever we show up. All we have to do is show up with a yes, open hands, open to receive. The brilliance of his teaching is it left the meaning of the parables up to the listener. It didn't give us rules and code of conduct, but invited those rules and code of conduct to evolve through us and challenge those of us who listen to search with our own minds. I think that's what so many of us do. We question, don't we? We are a community that we are comfortable living in the questions and giving space to allow the answers to evolve. We search our own minds, our own consciousness to develop and tweak our own belief, our own value systems. But this sometimes causes us some confusion, some discomfort, some disorientation. So if you live, Mary Carr said this in her book, or her writing, Lit, if you live in the dark a long time and the sun comes out, you do not cross into it whistling. There's an initial uprush of relief at first, then for me anyway, a profound dislocation. My old assumptions about how the world works are buried, yet my new ones aren't yet operational. There's been a death of sorts, but without a few days in hell, no resurrection is possible. So is there anyone here who did not experience at least a few days in hell during the past year? Anyone? We all had some of it, right? Whether it was a fear or the loneliness or the inability to have some needs met. We all experience some level of hell, but there was always a nudging that we can do more, right? We do it for the promise. We do it knowing that there is something more, something better, something good. So what is God, spirit, universe, presence, creative energy? What is all of this? They're all names for that which is greater than we, and we don't have the consciousness yet to describe it. Now, sometimes it's so hard. It's like when a friend asks you, oh, what about God at your church? And how do you describe that? How do you describe the God of your understanding? I remember my last piece in seminary, where I had to sit in front of a panel, and I invited Kathy to be on my panel. That was a mistake. Because she kept going back to, well, so, and tell me more about God. What about God? And I'm just going, God is I am, period. That's all I could get to. Because for me to put any other words to it was putting God in this box. And God for me was so big, and still is so big. I can't put God in the box. I can put my experience of God in the box. So I experience God this way. I experience God this way. I experience God, and see Kathy back there smiling under her mask. I experience God with this bird that is singing, this beautiful garden, the beautiful blossoms on the trees, with reminding they're there because my nose is itching. So, right? Those are my experiences of God. It's not God. I can't put God in a box. So Jesus talked about the kingdom of God, that Christ consciousness, that realm of divine ideas, such as the love, that unconditional love and the wisdom, where we know that we know that we know. Wisdom that is so powerful, that comes from deep within us. And when we align our thoughts with the higher vibrational qualities of God, of spirit, of creative energy, we become these, and we experience a peace that passes understanding. So have you during this year at some point just go, it's out of my hands right now. I hold the world in prayer, and I'm at peace with that, because that is all that is mine to do at this moment. Can we just hold that? Could you feel that in this time of crucifixion? Could you feel that peace that passes understanding at some point? Can you feel it maybe now? You're sitting in a beautiful spot. Those of you who are beginning to catch sunlight, you're welcome to shuffle your chair around if you're having a hard time seeing back there. So, one of the ways we do that was taught to us by Jesus. in Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. The kingdom is here and now. It's the realm of consciousness. We enter in collaboration of what we know about the mystery, about what is good, what is acceptable, what is perfect. Until the day, whether it's today, tomorrow, or the next day, we achieve the consciousness of oneness as it. The day when we transcend our human consciousness of separation, limitation, duality, and rise up to a greater expression of God. And how do we enter that kingdom? This year has invited us to step apart, to isolate, to come face to face with ourselves, to see and feel who we are and become clear of our priorities and what we value. Are your values a little bit stronger than they were a year ago? What's important to you have a little bit more power, right? It's a little bit more clear. So there's been time for healing our mind, our body, and our soul, to come to terms with our imperfections and our fears, to name them and embrace them so we can grow through them. For those of you with families, you may wish you had some alone time, right? Your lives have been about learning how to juggle, going to work or working from home or caring for your children 24/7, or supporting, for most of you, you may have children who are supporting children at home and kind of supporting them. I know my daughter would call, I'm fine, Mom, until all of a sudden I got the call. This is just horrible. I can't do it anymore. This is too much. And they canceled school, but they sent me home without giving me time to stay in my classroom and get what I need. So now I'm teaching from my spare bedroom and I have no materials and I'm teaching first graders and I can't hold their attention all day long. All my stuff's at school, but they wouldn't let me in the building. All of those types of pieces and watching her kind of fall apart with that and watching her juggle so much and going, oh, I feel for anyone. Robin here was teaching same scenario probably. So, honor those teachers. Really, they have done an amazing, amazing job this year. And, and for others, I know we've got some who have worked all the way through. We've got nurses on our staff who have just been out on that front line and work. And, their struggles were so different from those of us who were told to just stay at home and do nothing, basically. And if you turn on the TV, all you got was gloom and doom. And, how did you go back and forth with everything? So it's been a tough time. And in that, we were still trying to deal with what was really important and what's not important and who we are in the middle of it. So who were you in the middle of it? Did you find more of yourself? Be able to find that and allow that to come through. To find the power of your own being. So the invitation's still there. Every day, every waking hour. And some of those things that we are not, we get to get clarity on. And those things that we are, we become very clear about. And who we are as a human and what we are as a divine being. And we become a force for good. We become unified. We saw that with the dismantling racism groups that we've had. I saw people figuring out who they were and who they weren't, who they wanted to show up as, who they did not want to be anymore, and to make that shift, make that move as they became better educated. And so in the resurrection, how do we achieve it? It's the restoring of our mind and our body to our original, undying state. It is accomplished by the realization that God is spirit, the moving force in the universe. God is principle as the breath of life in all creation and creative intelligence. Our resurrection is today. It is the moment we embrace the opportunity for self-knowledge, to look in the mirror and see the face of God, to consecrate our hands and our feet to be of service to the good. And we do this through, no surprise here, meditation, contemplation, taking time in the silence, reading and prayer. We can go to the internet for meditations. We can sit in silence. We can go to bookstores and let a book fall into our lap, or we can go to our own bookshelves and let a book fall into our lap that has been sitting there with dust on it. We can stare into a mirror and open up to the greatness that we are. We can answer the Christ, the indwelling spirit within us, knocking on the door of our soul, and we can step through the doorway into the light of a greater wisdom, greater peace, love that is greater than what we are now expressing. And we can be transformed by the renewal of our mind. Hate never solved anything. Restricting or legislating against people's innate human expression never brought greater good. It never healed anyone or anything. Only love heals. Only embracing the all of universal creation can we be guided by the best that is in us in expression. So on this Easter morning, the time of crucifixion is over. That is another 4 emails coming into my box. The time of crucifixion is over. Even if the outer doesn't change, the inner must and is. That which is beyond Jesus is pointing to the doorway. Step through. The time for resurrection is now. Let us enter the kingdom. Enter into the Christ indwelling, Christ consciousness, and free ourselves so that we regain our strength and wisdom. And as we do that, we become present to the world and we become the agents of change we were born to be. And this is the time, folks. This is when everything is changing and we can be a voice in that. Because there is no return to the normal we had. It will be different. And so if anyone is in Christ, there is a new creation. Everything old has passed away. See, everything has become new, written in 2 Corinthians 5:17. So welcome to the new world. It is here now. And through the Christ presence within, we are transformed. And enjoy your transformation.
So let us take time now to meditate upon these things. All unmasked. By gently closing your eyes as we prepare. Through the Christ presence within, I can transcend limiting thoughts and habits. With our eyes closed and breathing, we allow that healing presence of spirit to restore and renew us in all ways. With each breath, we rest in the truth that we are never alone. Let's take time in the silence to move into that place of renewal of mind, body, and spirit, to return to that very first day when we were wholly one in the silence. And so we breathe. We breathe in that this is Easter Sunday, that time to celebrate spirit, soul, and body, resurrecting as the Christ consciousness of life and wholeness within each and every one of us. Even the birds sing out that song of creation, of wholeness, of joy, as we affirm that every day we are created anew. We have moved from darkness and doubt and false beliefs into that light of understanding, into times of renewal where we say, we are radiant and fully alive. Through the Christ presence within, I am transformed. And so it is.
Good morning. I'm Bob Baker, member of your Board of Trustees. Thanks to all who participated in the first phase of our congregation discussion on planning for recruiting a new minister after Judy and Kathy retired.
And somebody has to handle tonight.
Phase 2 will focus on how we lay out our path forward. We will gather virtually again to build on who we are, to develop creative ideas for where we are going. This phase consists of another two-hour Zoom sessions on Sunday, April 11th, 12 to 2 p.m., and Saturday, April 17th, 11 to 1 p.m. You need to register for one of these sessions through Unity of Mesa website as soon as possible. From the home page, click down on the Things You Know button halfway down the page. And then scroll down to the Phase 2 focus groups. Registration for next Sunday's meeting will close on Friday evening. Space is limited. If you register for Phase 2 but did not participate in Phase 1, Gregory will send you a couple of links to review before the meeting. All of these materials will be given to the Board of Trustees to enable us to submit a recruitment package to Unity Worldwide Ministries that reflects the values of the ministry and to start the recruitment process. Giving from abundance, we realize the many ways we make manifest our support for our community through Facebook, YouTube, the Give Plus app, U.S. Postal Service, in thought and in person. At this time, please take your gift of love in your hands and join with me as we say our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you for the givers and the gifts. We will not be passing offering bags today. Please hold on to your gifts until the end of the service, when you can deposit your gifts in the offering buckets at the exits for your convenience. Now let's prepare ourselves for a song.
Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hope against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do, yeah. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've survived many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be all right, yes I will, once more, just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new, so bring it on. Everything gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
If you are requesting prayer today, please connect with me or with Reverend Kathy. I'll hang out right up here for a few minutes. And would be honored to pray with anybody today. And let us close with our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And I believe, do you have anything else that needs to be spoken to?
So offering and prayer slip buckets are at both exits. If you have used one of our chairs, please leave it for us to put away. And if you brought your own, don't forget to grab it. And remember, no in-person services next Sunday, the 11th.
And hopefully we have all our little tweaks worked out. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Feel free to linger and catch up with people. Just also a reminder that they may not be in the same comfort zone as you. So please ask, and please don't be afraid to use your voice and say, look further back, please, because we know some of us still have some issues and are not being vaccinated at this moment. And some of us have other issues, and so we just honor the space, all right? And I love seeing you guys here. Thank you so much for coming. And Sheila, thank you for telling us how important this service was to do. Thank you.
Yay, Sheila.
Have a great week, everyone, and happy Easter.